I'm not sure which came first, the spectacular supernatural horror The Autopsy of Jane Doe, or the horror video game The Mortuary Assistant, but the latter is now just coming out for a limited run in theaters before landing on Shudder. Will this be a new horror cult classic based on a video game? Newly certified mortician Rebecca accepts a night shift at a mortuary, embalming bodies alone after hours. As disturbing events escalate, she uncovers demonic rituals, the dark secrets of her enigmatic mentor, and her own buried trauma. This stars Willa Holland and Paul Sparks and instantly has one thing going for it. The practical effects and makeup are grotesque and squirm-inducing. We're talking self-mutilations, semi-cannibalism, brutal slashings, and flesh-ripping nastiness. One or two times I actually kind of irped in my throat a bit just thanks to how visceral the visuals are. And while I'm pretty sure this doesn't accurately showcase the embalming process, especially as it looks like the mortician is just attempting to give liposuction to a corpse, the nauseating and wincing effect, it translates perfectly. And when these are coupled with some creatively unsettling and then claustrophobic angles, there's definitely some uneasy dread that complements the effects. I've not played the video game this is based on, but if the film is anything like the game, then it involves a lot of dark hallways, creeping doors, there and gone again freaky beings, curious chantings, and some encounters that are just not right. I also expect that there are the standard cutscenes where characters have conversations that work to progress the story along, allowing players to maybe recompose themselves a little bit or get a small reprieve before diving back into the horrors. Now, the film also does this. That's not a praise. While the visuals and effects are wonderfully achieved, the dialogue and storytelling, they are atrociously basic and unnatural. And I'm not talking unnatural as in the undead or something fun like that. No. The banter back and forth, it doesn't resemble anything an actual human would say to one another, unless they were being controlled by a 3-year-old who has the nuance of a brick and can only speak in remedial sentence structures. The acting is also wooden and frustrating to watch, mostly because the plot doesn't take any time to set anything up. Instead, we see a cagey and slightly skittish mortician awkwardly having a conversation with her boss before then being called back into work for an overnight shift. The bodies she's preparing appear as though we're about to see a vampire or a werewolf flick, but we eventually understand that this is more of the demon possession route than a monster movie. And all of the progressions are clunky and presented in such a way that it's almost as if the film was attempting to do a shot-for-shot mimic of the game. At least I'm assuming that. I mean, the chases and the eerie appearances, they can be startling. And even though there are a ton of obvious jump scares, the film does occasionally do a fake-out and then deliver a scare unexpectedly and then without a musical sting. Now, Willa Holland, who portrays Rebecca, has a backstory that is sort of woven into the storytelling. But because there's no effort to create a connection with her character, the minimal development that comes later in the movie, it's not effective, and it serves more as a distracting tangent. Despite the excellent makeup and the practical effects, this movie is an unfortunate waste of time, where even the 90-minute runtime feels exceptionally long. From lifeless characters to a plot that's slapped together, presenting a narrative that attempts to feel cohesive, but in reality is a jumbled collection of standard horror tropes, the only thing this movie created in me was a desire to turn it off and watch The Autopsy of Jane Doe. There's no sex or nudity, a lot of profanity, and then a bunch of terrific violence. I give The Mortuary Assistant 1.5 out of 5. That's only because of the visuals. Okay, video game adaptations, they continue to be more misses than hits, but are there any games you think would make a great movie or maybe series? I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.